All right, PN Global News. Welcome. November 8th, 2018.
Good morning.
Good morning. Man, we got a great guest in the house this morning, Mr.
Yes.
Levi Davis, my mentor. I'm like, I got a hug on this man right here. This man been my mentor for so long.
Good morning.
Good morning, Levi.
I don't know.
It's a pleasure to have you here today.
We've been expecting you for a week, young man.
Yeah, I've been expecting you for a long time. I know you expected me too.
All right, y'all just be gentle with me.
Oh, we will.
So we're here today at PN Global News. I'm Rodney Woods.
Jesse McRae.
And our partner in crime and my mentor, Mr. Levi Davis.
Z.
Man, we got Levi in the house,
Yes,
Jay,
we do.
man.
Hey, man, it's awesome to have him here.
Yes,
you
sir.
know, we always like to lead off with a bit of humor. One of the things that Rodney and I always talk about is, how do we up the ante just a little bit?
There
Because
you
they
go.
say in the South, you attract bees with honey. Well, young man, we've been all abuzz about you.
Yes, sir.
For a number of things, and most notably, one of the initiatives I know you're going to kind of apprise our audience of that is in the offing as it relates to how we're going to look to identify small business in around the city to deploy some dollars to, but we're going to make them wait for that. We're going to make them wait for that. We're going to make them wait for that.
Yeah.
Rodney and I were talking just last week about the importance, as we do on most of our shows, if not all of our shows, the importance of those methodical steps to get the business owner to embrace the inconvenient truth of accessing capital, to embrace his inconvenient truth of the steps to accessing capital, but then more importantly, the willingness to go through all those steps to get to the point of audience. And I know that you have been in the audience as a fiduciary, public servant, and even now as a businessman over the past number of years. Talk a little bit about, from either perspective, the importance of being able to speak to one's business, articulate the growth prospects and risks of that business, and be willing to go through the steps to ultimately get access to dollars.
I think, and I'm only talking from my personal experience
Yes,
and
sir.
the people I've worked with, and it's been my style to work with a lot of young entrepreneurs over the years. Over the
like
years.
me, over the years. He's always been there for me over the years, Lord. And first, thank you so much, Levi.
I think it's still important to have mentors.
Yeah.
Mentors are very important because they open doors for you, they speak for you, they may call you and tell you about an opportunity that's pending down the road. So I think having mentors are very important. And how do you go about getting the mentors and not waiting for a mentor to identify you, for you to identify a mentor and go after that mentor?
Yeah.
And I think that's still very, very much important. And I think the other thing is if you're going to be an entrepreneur, never give up. Never give up.
Yeah,
Can
you
you
told me that
can you
so many
repeat that,
times.
sir?
Never give up. Stay focused, have a vision in mind and go
Yeah.
after it. And always, even as I tell my kids, always having a plan B,
Yeah.
sometimes a C.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
And we tell them that all the time, right?
And never give up. I have, I guess, almost a half a dozen people that I've associated myself with over the years,
Yeah.
just young ones who come along and trying to make their own businesses. But my job is really a cheerleader.
Yeah.
A cheerleader, a door opener,
Yeah. Yeah.
an introducer. That's what I've been doing for years and will continue to do.
And you've done it for me for years. And Lord knows I am so grateful for all you've done for me. Because you have
Appreciate
definitely been my champion, I tell you. I call Levi, he talked to me, and don't give up. Don't
Yeah,
you give up.
yeah. It's a
He'll call me.
consistent theme.
He'll call me a couple weeks later. Young man, I'm just calling to check on you, see how you doing. You ain't giving up, are you? No, sir. No, sir, Mr. Davis. I'm not giving up.
Right.
We didn't.
We did not. And one of the things that we always like to make sure that we find a way to convey, and along with the spirit of you saying, hey, it's important not to give up, give us a little bit of insight into your background. We all know what we've read about and what we've read over the years through the press releases back in the days of being a servant and fiduciary, but give our viewers and our listeners just a little bit of perspective on your travels to where you are today.
Yeah.
Well, I am, real quickly in a snapshot, I'm a veteran. I'm a veteran of the Navy, the Air Force, and the Marines.
And we
Yeah.
thank you
Very
for your
briefly for the
service.
Marines.
Yes, sir.
And I was a public servant with the city of Dallas for 20 years on
Yeah.
and off. Had a good career there, and then I went off into investment banking. Had an exceptional career in investment banking with the largest minority firm in the country,
That's right. That's right.
and I had responsibility for bankers half the United States, kind of. Did a lot of projects associated with them. Then I left that and did a little teaching, and then I got back into investment banking on a smaller scale, into the development area. Been associated with doing the financing and development of several hotels and a large entertainment venue that I'm working on currently. Still doing that, and been involved in still helping hand to those who are coming along after me, so I have a responsibility to do that.
Reaching back.
And some of the smaller projects I'm working on now, so I'm still involved and will continue to be involved. And also just starting to work on a community development fund, so that's the early stages, but I stay busy.
Yeah, you do.
And what is
No.
that community development fund really? What's the premise of that particular initiative?
Well, I'm always concerned about the community, giving back to the community, and I was chairman of an entity in our community that provided a lot of social services and spin off agencies to create social services. But one thing we notice is that most important for individuals is income and housing.
Right.
And some parts of the city in our community, we don't have that. And in trying to do something in those segments of the community, it's hard for them to get capital. They can't just go to the bank and get
Right.
capital.
And we talk about
And
this all the
so just trying to find, my entity that we're trying to create is that we will provide capital to those who are interested in doing affordable housing. If it's in the neighborhood that may require retail or maybe call other developments, then we will begin to put together funds to help fund them, provide technical assistance to them, and just to make sure that it happens.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome, because I tell you, you've always been a champion of all of that. You know, I've got a chance to like experience it, see it, come to your office, talk to you, call you at home, and you always like, hey, this is what you got to do. You got to stay in the game. You can't give up. You got to have a plan. As
Yeah.
you would tell your kids and everybody else, you know, and please tell the family I say hello, Miss Loretta. I say hello, Miss Davis, hello.
Hello.
Hello, Miss Davis. Loretta Davis. But Mr. Levi Davis has always told me those things, you know, stay in the game, Rodney. Keep having a plan and don't give up. You know, you got to keep fighting for what you believe in, right?
Yeah.
And we got to pass it on.
Yes,
We
do.
talk about
Yeah.
this while
Yes,
we
we do.
built Playbook Investors Network, because we wanted to pass a lot of things on to help a lot of companies get to the next level. And you know, you've been a champion of me doing this thing. It's been a long process,
Yeah.
but you've hung in there with me, and we stay in touch, and you've helped us financially.
Oh, yes,
also.
indeed. Yes, indeed. And we're not ashamed to put it out there.
No, we're
'Cause-
not.
'cause
We're
here's the thing.
happy and proud.
My grandfather always said, Moses Alexander McRae said, give a man his flowers while he lives.
That's right.
Because then and only then can he appreciate the sweet aroma of their existence.
Hey,
Well, I've been blessed to be in, as you said, the public sector.
Yes, sir.
So I know the public sector, and I know a lot of entrees and doorways to the
Yep,
public sector.
yep.
But I've also been very involved in the hospital industry.
Mm.
So I've been chairman of the major hospital system in our community and chairman of the statewide association of all hospital trustees. So I know the hospital system.
Yeah, okay.
And then I know the community and social service system. So knowing these gives me an opportunity to know the right people, the 1 or 2 or 3 degrees of separation.
Right.
But that's no good to me if I can't use it to help someone else.
Yeah.
So my job, as you say, is to pass it on and open the door. I can't go get it for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But my job is to open the door so they can have an access to get it. And that's been, and sometimes it's difficult for young entrepreneurs. Sometimes they have a rough time, and
Yeah.
I may have to help them out with their rent.
You
I may have to
have.
help them out with this or that.
Listen, I'm the sitting, living witness of help. You know.
So my job and my focus is make sure I can pay my mortgage,
Sure.
but also help others.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that Rodney and I talk about a lot is being willing to do your part to change the game. And part of changing the game is to change the economics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of things change when the economics change. At www.playbookinvestors, with an S, network.com, what we do on our platform is make sure that, again, you have access to the breadth and depth of expertise that exists within our platform. From our tutorials, our webinars, even access to our portal, which will give you an opportunity to take an assessment to really understand where you are in this particular inflection point in your business. Get access to the third-party service providers. Most importantly, get access to potential audiences like Mr. Davis. To that end,
Very good.
what are one of the things that you would probably impart on our listeners or viewers as it relates to that leading up to that ask? Because many times we know that access is important, it's key.
Yeah, yeah.
But then once you get that audience, once you get that access, what are one of the 2 or 3 things that you would always want to encourage an entrepreneur? Because they've not given up. They've done what's necessary to get into the door. What would you tell them to do next?
And even before that, when they do have access, it isn't just happenstance. It shouldn't be just happenstance.
That's right.
If you're going to a networking session or you're going to a meeting or something, do a little homework. Know who's going to be there.
Due diligence? Are you saying due
Due
diligence?
diligence, a little homework. Know who's going to be there,
That's right.
who they are, and even what some of their interests are. If you're meeting with a city council person who's in charge of economic development, know something about that person or whatever. And so when you have the conversation, of course you want to make sure they get the conversation in as to what you're all about, but also have the opportunity to let them know that you know something about them and you're interested in them. People help people.
That's
Yes,
right.
they do.
People help people
Yes,
who
they do.
understand each other. So that's very important. So you create that bond.
Yeah.
And I've always found too, and I tell people, don't be afraid to ask for advice or assistance. Because when you ask for advice or assistance, the people who give it to you become part of the solution.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
so
they
that's
do.
very important.
Very important.
And that's real. I mean, because Levi's always done that for myself. You know, as I said, I'm a sit and living witness myself and understanding. He's always told me these things, and this is what you need to do. Can't be afraid.
No, can't be afraid.
Can't be afraid. A closed mouth will never get fed if you don't ask.
And go to the network sessions.
Yeah.
I know, and I didn't know until 2 or 3 years ago, there are a number in our community, and it's a great large community, there are a number of brothers and sisters who provide capital or access to capital. But in our community, we're not even aware of who they are.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
And,
Yeah.
and one brother, he's providing capital to entities all over the country. And one brother's traveling to South America and providing capital and getting capital. But we in our community, we don't even know who they are.
Isn't
Right.
that something?
So it's finding out, networking, getting that relationship going. And you'd be very surprised. You can pick up the phone and call somebody. Believe it or not, they will answer.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Call them, and even if they don't answer, they may give you their assistance. That's step one. But that's just
That's part of it.
be bold.
That's part of it.
Be bold.
That is absolutely part of it.
Because we understand, even in our process of accessing more capital, is we always want to try and find those advocates. We like to call them gatekeepers, but we can make them advocates.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To that point, what would you advise an entrepreneur that now is at the point of the ask, 1 million, 2 million, 500,000, when they're at that point of the ask and they get that deer in headlight syndrome, okay? What would you say that would compel them to get over that? Because the whole point of them being there was to ask for that money. What would you impart on them to do at that point?
First of all, be careful, because there are wolves out there, even when you prepare to ask.
And sharks.
And sharks. And they want a large percentage of what you do.
Yeah.
So don't give away the ship.
We talk about that.
Before
Yes, we do.
before you do
Yes,
that.
we
So
do.
have that in mind. But if you got the headlights and you want to talk to someone, I hope you have a game plan already as far as who you're targeting. And so you begin to, hello, I'm so-and-so. I've heard about you, and what you're doing is a good thing. Build that contact, that relationship. first.
Right.
And you don't have to sell everything that moment you're meeting with them at a workshop. Can I come visit you later and talk to you about what I'm doing on? Can we get together? I don't mind. Can I buy you lunch or
So
breakfast or something?
make it conversational.
Conversational
Yeah.
and personal.
Got it.
And personal.
Man, you know, I'll tell you what, when we come back after this break, and we have Levi Davis in PN Global News today here at Unified Network in Frisco, Texas. Man, you guys want to tune into this because this has been a great mentor to me. But we're going to come back after the break, and we're going to ask Levi a couple more questions about how an entrepreneur needs to know how he or she can gain access to capital and the questions to ask, you know, when you're talking, or the network and how you actually network. So we'll be back after the break. I'm Rodney Woods, Mr. Levi Davis, and my partner, Jesse McRae. We'll be back after the break.
In a minute.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
All right, welcome back. November 8th, we're back at PN Global News. Rodney Woods, Levi Davis.
Jesse McRae.
So we're going to do this
Without my
right, Jess.
smarties.
We got to have fun with this. Now, we always talk with www.playbookinvestors with an S, network.com. But when we always come back, I'm Rodney Woods, and you are?
Levi Davis.
Jesse McRae.
All right, welcome back to PN Global News. We always got to have a little fun with this.
We cut up a
Loretta,
little
we
bit.
do cut up a little bit, so we're trying to make your husband cut up a little bit, all right? But no, more importantly, when you go and you ask an investor for money, or you're in the engagement stage where you ask it and they say, hey, I'm willing to give you $2 million, but this cost of capital is really expensive, right? It's going to cost you X. Now you got to make some decisions. If you really want to take this $2 million and you want to give up the ship a little bit more than what you actually you didn't want to give it up, but now you really got to do something. You got to make some decisions. That's tough though, Mr. Davis.
Yeah,
It's tough.
the tough thing sometimes, if it's the first ask, you have a tendency to say, I'm not giving up this ship. I'm going to keep 50.
Right.
I'm going to keep 60, 75% of this. Now, when you start doing it for
I
a year,
worked hard for this.
I
right?
work hard for it. Now,
Right.
you're down the road and you haven't got a penny.
Right.
Well, maybe I'll give up
Give us
more,
something.
man. Maybe I'll give.
Time to
Yeah,
rethink
yeah.
things. a little
Two
more.
years down the road, maybe I'll give up 60 and keep 40. At least I'll have something coming in.
But see, along that line, that hole has gotten bigger in that ship. That ship has got water. That's
right, that's
We
right.
thinking, right? Hey, man, there's some sharks out here. I can't swim.
I can't swim. But we talk at times, both with humor and seriousness,
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
the importance of being prepared
Oh, yeah.
to negotiate and understanding on the front end what your non-negotiables are for ethnic reasons. Maybe to maintain some certifications. It may be a non-negotiable to go beyond
very good.
51%.
Very good, yeah.
But then let's get to more of the quantitative aspects, because when we talk about an injection of capital, Rodney and I always talk about the return of and a return on. And being able to convey to that audience how that flow through of dollars is going to impact your business. But the minute that you get it, it's going to change certain ratios, debt to equity, showing it through the statement of cash flow, showing how you're going to apply that through the P&L. How important is it to go into that audience with that sort of game plan to speak to those aspects when you're negotiating that capital?
Another tool that you didn't mention is important. Even if you give up in order to get in the door,
Absolutely.
have a clause that say I can buy back.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
important.
Because as you become successful, you can. If you give up 40, they have 60%. You only have 40. Okay, up to a certain point in time, I can buy it back at this price.
Pursuant to certain outcomes. that's what I like
Exactly.
to say.
So therefore, you still have don't have control initially, but if you perform, you have control.
And that's an option that you can't have. That's a provision you can actually write into your contract.
Exactly.
That you can come back and buy this back at a certain date and time after you meet these certain milestones and principals are paid back and all this other stuff. That is true.
Oh yeah, and I've also found it doesn't have to be just entirely an equity position. It may be a small equity and a loan.
Yeah, it could be.
You got to see how you're going to structure and how you want to do it. And you got to have a lot of flexibility. Also, I want to point on something else that people aren't aware of, and I found more of it here. In a community, usually if there's a large university, there are courses on entrepreneurship.
Yes.
Check the syllabus of those programs because they have seminars, they have equity people coming in talking to their students, and it's usually open. Or you may even take that one course.
Right.
But there are a lot of programs going on that you may not be aware of. And you just that introduction, and there'll be equity players at those sessions.
And if you're going to access that, and in case you have to invest in that, if this is for your business,
Oh yeah.
you get the benefit
Yeah.
of having that as a qualified business expense.
Oh yeah.
So let me ask you. So we talk a little bit about the balance sheet.
See, this is wisdom.
that-
This
that-
is wisdom
Yeah,
right
it's
here.
sage. I'm trying to get it all out of
my
there.
God.
I'm trying to
See,
get it all out
I'm
of
just sitting
there.
here trying to be quiet. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm listening to Levi
Hey,
today.
I'm trying to get it all out. So you talk about going in and perhaps there's an equity play. We won't get into common versus preferred. We're just going to say an equity play. There may be some debt.
Oh yeah.
There may be some equity. But let me ask you, how important is it to consider perhaps having that investor be a growth partner to where there's the conversion feature? So instead of necessarily the buyback,
It becomes
they become a part of the balance sheet for some long-term and significant ways. How important is it to go in with that?
it's important to have the options in your mind
Yeah.
as you begin the conversation.
Right.
It's very difficult to go back to an investor and a capital
After
person
fact.
and say, well, you know, I'll do this. Next week, I'll do this. You gotta have your game plan together when you go in.
Right.
The options in your pocket.
Right.
You gotta have your tools.
Right.
If you don't have your
Right.
tools, and they think you're peddling and you're playing games.
Yeah.
So you gotta have your act together in order to do that. You know, another thing I'm gonna touch on before I get out and done too is that people aren't aware of it, is that most of us have a corporation, but be sure to read some simple summary of the new tax law.
Yes.
Because if you're an S corp, which most of us are, 20% of it is forgiven going into your first year.
Right. That's
So,
right.
so you got to make sure you study your tax law on your corporation. It may not be important today, but have some working knowledge of it.
Yeah, but 20% that's forgiven. That's significant too.
It's significant.
It
After
really is.
expenses, so that reduces your tax burden a whole lot.
Absolutely.
And I think the viewing public and the listening audience need to understand that a lot of people don't talk about that.
Oh, no, they
You
don't.
know, that's why this segment, at Penn Global News is about the education.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of us don't understand what that really means. You know, and if you never even told me that, I wouldn't even know what it was, you know?
It's very important, and it doesn't have to cost you a lot of money to do that. And once again, it's those sessions,
Yeah.
free sessions you may go to get more and more information, or you better have one or two or three mentors that you have breakfast with, you have lunch with, or something that can share that information and are part of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I even have other people who are successful. I send people to them to talk to them, and I open the door so they can just talk to them,
Yeah.
because I want to make mentors of other people.
Right. That is,
Sure.
He's done with us.
Wow. Sage advice.
Yes,
Sage
right.
advice. Sage advice. You know, Rodney, I know that you and I have talked in between segments at times about giving back in some very meaningful ways and how it starts out with the economics.
Yeah.
But there's a bigger piece than that. And I know leading up to today's show, and you even spoke a little bit about it earlier, is in mentorship, there's also still a process.
Yeah.
But that process is going to be based upon the mentee being willing to listen and
Yeah.
employ
Yeah.
some of the advice that you're imparting. What would you say to that prospective mentee when they're preparing to engage that mentee?
And mentee means a lot of things. It means the people that include our kids.
Kids.
And I always say stuff because I look over to my young son that I'll be like, you still a mentee. I want you to understand how this works, right?
Let me tell you a story then.
Yeah.
A recent story in the last 6 months. A young lady comes to me. She has this idea about teaching kids to write. She had a program over in one of our communities here. She had 6 kids, and they sent them through a 6-week writing class. And then they published books. The kids are 8 to 11.
Wow.
Published books.
Wow, that is.
So then the published books, she had them on sale on Amazon, on the internet.
Right.
And then she had a book signing party. At the book signing party, she had the parents and the kids. Of course, the relatives come to buy the books.
Support 'em,
The kids became entrepreneurs right then because they got paid for the books. All the money goes to kids.
Yeah.
The parents are excited because their kids, 8, 9 years old, are authors, and here they are making money.
Wow.
So the kids are busy trying to write another books.
Right.
So I try to take that program and put it other places. Don't cost me about less than $2,000. But you end up creating entrepreneurs, kids who believe they have an opportunity, and parents who really believe that, hey, we can do this.
You know, man, Mr. Davis, it's so amazing that you tell that story because I follow all your stories. I follow your lead on everything that I'm doing today to even become successful like we're trying to become, and pass this on to everybody else, whether it be a business, whether it be our own kids, or whether it be people just wanting like, hey, I want to be an entrepreneur. And it's a game to be an entrepreneurship.
it's a game.
And it's a hard road, But at the same time, one of the things that we've done, just like you talking about taking the kids at 7 or 8 or 9 years of age, we're taking the athlete entertainers at a certain age, right, who have a lot of liquidity, and using our partner and his brand with Tracy McGrady and, who's been a big partner to us for a while, and the Antonio Davis of the world, the Jonathan Bennett, all these guys and players that we know from the Emmett Smiths, and he did a great job at NMSCC
Yes,
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, in Austin.
You
Sure.
know, all these guys that we know and have great relationships with, but they have a lot of star power and a lot of liquidity.
Oh yeah.
But we try to take them now, just like that book signing, and being the author of that book, to take them into the community and say, hey, here's a plant right here in your community.
Yep.
Here's a Coca-Cola plant, Tracy McRae, right next to the house you grew up in Arbondale, Florida, that you don't have a piece of, or you could have a piece of, that you can create so many jobs if we get in these doors here. Or we can own these plants here that's making the glasses, or making our soups, or making the buttons, or making the cell phones that's sitting on this table there, or the lights that's in this facility. You know, we're trying to do the same thing that you've already told me what to do and how to do.
You know, even to that is that it doesn't have to be a multi-million-dollar home run.
Yeah.
If
It doesn't have to be
if they're
Nabisco.
making a $250,000 home run,
Yeah.
that's a good start.
Yeah.
You build on it.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to say, well, I want to go out and become a multi-billionaire next year.
And the Reginald Lewis stories are a great story.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it takes a while to get there. It
takes a while to get there.
The Levi Davis stories are great stories, and it took a while to get there.
And I'm not as motivated today by money as I was yesterday. I'm much more motivated by making a difference.
Yeah.
And that's something.
So that's more important to me.
And as I said all along, and I told Jesse so many times, I follow the same passion as Levi did. You know, one of the biggest passions of my personal self is to be philanthropic, to be able to give money to the groups I want to give money to, but give them the leadership and the guidance, right? Not just give money just to do whatever. Give them the guidance to be able to do these things, become entrepreneurs and own the businesses and stuff in their own communities. Because the economic impact coming back to communities is huge.
Oh yeah.
You talking about stopping crime and everything, because people don't have jobs. You know, now some is excuse.
That's right.
Some want to stay out there, but the ones who really want to do something, they'll come work at your facilities.
Oh yeah.
You got to train them. You got to give them education. You know, sometimes you got to give them the push, the motivation, as we do our own kids. We got to keep pushing them, keep pushing them, keep pushing them.
Keep pushing them, pat them on the back, give them the, keep going.
Sometimes a little tough though, you know it's tough. I want to kill mine sometimes, but I love it.
Oh, no.
I love it down. Hey, y'all know who I am. They know I'm crazy.
I mean, they don't say, "Oh, here come Dad again."
Oh Lord, here comes Dad. Lord.
Well, you know,
I got to deal with him again.
Well, we
But
always
keep
try
pushing.
to nurture that enthusiasm. Okay.
I'm not nurturing. I'm hurting mine.
But I do.
I got 3 like that.
I know, right?
I do want to come back and pose a question though. When we consider the economic impact that we can have,
Oh yeah.
whether it's through just running a small business and employing a staff of 5, or being a part of a conglomerate that makes that big acquisition that employs 1,100. It's about changing the economics and allowing those economics to flow back through these acknowledged underserved communities. When we come back, I definitely want to make sure that we give you an opportunity to speak to that, because it'll give us a chance to kind of talk a little bit more about CDF.
Oh yeah.
You know, talk about that initiative, because that's important in terms of how we're recycling the dollars and the impact that those dollars can have to where we're doing our part to change this system that we all know exists.
Oh, absolutely, because I mean, the job creation piece is huge for us, because, you know, I've had the blessings to have mentors in yourself, you know, over the years, to understand what I really wanted to do, how I wanted to get there, how I can affect people, how I can change people's lives or their mindset, because you got to change mindset sometimes too. And Lord knows, sometimes, you know, as an African American, sometimes we're a little worse at listening. Right? You know, I'm always just real. Everybody out in the listening audience and viewing public know how sincere we are and how real we are, but we got to listen sometimes. You know?
Prayer cloth is coming.
Right, and it's always an inconvenient truth.
Oh yeah.
You know, that you don't want to hear certain things that you got to do to be able to get to that next level. But I'm going to get ready to go to this break. We'll be back here at PN Global News. I'm Rodney Woods, and you are?
Levi Davis.
And Jesse McRae.
We'll be back after the break.
In a minute.
School's over. What's next? Imagine a place where friendly faces say hello. You grab a healthy snack, have fun, and play a little. Imagine a place where you get lost in a book. Get help with homework. Or learn in the computer lab, where you create something cool. Kids take the stage. And you get some exercise. Imagine a safe place where you hang out with friends. Your voice matters, and someone's always there to listen. A place where you like spending the afternoon. And you can't wait to tell someone all about it. The club is a fun, positive, and safe place to grow. A place to become anything you dream. Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
They're having.
All right, back at PN Global News, November 8th, 2018. I'm here with my mentor, Mr. Levi Davis, my business partner, Jesse McRae, and I'm
Hello
Rodney
again.
Woods. We're back. Man, this is a great segment. It's a great week to be talking about entrepreneurship and how you actually gain access to capital and the pitfalls that you go in, the things you should do. Giving back.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, giving back the things that you've done so many years, Levi, for so many of us, not just myself personally, but I've known you to do this for so many people, to encourage them to stay persistent, stay in the game, have a plan, don't give up, no matter what happens, just keep going. If you believe in it, and you got to believe in your own stuff, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So you got to stay in the game. But
You know,
thank you.
even finding the small companies, and sometimes you have to create them. Examples: our hospital system. 7 years ago, minority participation was less than 3%.
Wow.
That's true.
Today it's 30.
Yeah, that's true.
But someone has to make that happen. But also you have to have the pool of people
Yeah,
to come in
Yeah.
and provide that service.
right.
It could be all kind of service,
It can.
which is very important.
When we saw, when we were building the plant with Toyota, when we were building that plant, and I remember this, I think it was my first plant that we had actually worked with Toyota to build in Tupelo, Mississippi. When we were going down Tupelo, Mississippi, and we were putting the outreach programs on the ground in the whole state of Mississippi, and then bleeding over into Tennessee and Georgia to find vendors and stuff. Everybody just, boom, just wanted to do work with Toyota. They just created businesses. And it was a lot of knocking on the doors to find out who they really were, right? But it was a great experience, you know, for myself, because I was like, wow.
That's right.
When a big company came down there, all these people tried to help them get a business put together so they can go work. But what I did see, because I was the ground team scrubbing these businesses, they really didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
They just tried to come together like, okay, I did this at another company, but didn't have a plan to actually go in and try to work for Toyota to be able to try to get that contract. And so a lot of, and then coming together,
Yep.
you know, because now you got an operator and you got a person who be running the money. Now that's got to match up.
Got to match
We
up.
talk about that quite a bit.
But you talk about that a lot too, because
I do.
it's more than a desire. You talk about the technical assistance.
Absolutely.
And the developing the plan and working with the individuals, not just saying, well, they never did this before, let's find somebody else. No. They have the interest and desire and they like to work. Well, let's help them put together the plan. Let's help them get the technical skills. Let's help them introduce them to the person that may provide the capital. But if the interest is there and the desire is there, they have the same desire to take care of their family as anyone else.
Yeah.
But giving them that helping hand in that direction.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and we were employed to do that. You know,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
it was so many companies, you know, and not enough bandwidth to go knock on everybody's door. But then you go back to the things that you said earlier. You got to be prepared to come out there and do the breakfast, do the
Oh
lunch,
yeah.
go
Oh
to
yeah.
network.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You got to show up.
You got to show
I
up.
mean, you don't have to show up and show out all the time, but you got to show up.
Got to show up.
So a lot of these companies, and we say this when we're going around the United States and we're working with various businesses, you got to show up.
you
If
gotta-
you're serious about your business, you just can't sit back and say, well, I created this business, I got certified, as a minority-owned business
Yeah.
and expect for you to get contracts because you're a minority-owned business. That don't work.
I don't.
So show up, but then show something.
Show something.
show
You ain't got to
something.
show out because show out might get you out
Right,
sometime.
right,
Real,
right.
yeah.
How important has it been to have a business that is a well-run business for the resources that it has to pitch the potential of that business for the resources that it's trying to get?
You know, that's a two-way street. You have a well-run business, when you're pitching it, you're showing a history of success. You're showing a history of revenue. You're showing that history. But if you don't have that, it's good to show that. Then by showing that, you show where you're going. People are going to invest. They like to see where you've been. They really want to see where you're going and where the projections are going down the road. So if you have that background, that's good in showing it. But also equally, if you don't have that background, only have 1 or 2 years or 6, 7 months of experience, if you can show where you're going to be going in that business, that's very important. It's good if you have the background, but it's equally important to show where you're going.
Because one of the things that we talk about is none of us, come into this world having all the answers.
Yeah.
There are certain things we just don't know what we don't know, which is where the value of mentorship comes in.
Right.
But the reason I ask that question is because you have had the luxury throughout your career to look through different lenses.
Yeah.
Okay? And whether you're evaluating what we would otherwise call the intrinsic value of a business, the upside, or the risk of the business, the potential downside, are you not ultimately coming back to that CEO or that CFO or that principal? Because you're really investing in them, and the business model is a byproduct. Would that be a true statement?
I'm really investing in the dreamer who's tenacious to get the across the line. Like if you go back to my high school day in my yearbook, to me there was no such word as can't.
Yeah.
So if the guy has the vision and tenacious and the dream and he can put together the plan, he's going to hire the other people you say, the good people. He's not going to hire. I've been there too, where you hire friends who can't do anything. But he's going to hire the people to get him to go where he needs to go.
Now look at it. Yes, Lord.
Now the prayer cloth comes out.
We have, but it's back to what Mr. Davis has said. You got to have a vision.
Oh yeah.
You got to have a vision. You got to have a plan. You got to perfect it. You got to, we talk about a lot of things that we want companies to have, when they trying to gain access to capital, and that's, with your vision. You got to have a plan. That's a business plan. You got to have a PPM, a private placement memorandum, or you're going to have your audit financials or your financial model set up so that investors know that you're serious, and at least they see the opportunity they gonna get a return back. It's a risk associated with every dollar that you put in anybody. Whether you put that in a company across the street, or down the street, or next door, or your own son or your own daughter, right? Yeah. It's a risk associated with it, but try to help them get there, because if they get there and they're successful, then you're gonna be successful too.
Also, read the paper.
Yeah.
Read the business page.
I think you better say that for everybody, because
for
people
everybody
have forgotten to do that now. We don't do that anymore.
You would be surprised. Like last Sunday's paper in our community, a guy named Hall Financial, billionaire.
Yeah.
He says, I made my money, but I want to invest in small businesses who are trying to make a difference. And not so much the technology. There's a lot of invested capital out there for technology, but I want to invest in somebody who wants to do something. So I'm setting aside a large portion of my money to find and look for those individuals that I can invest in. But reading that article, entrepreneurs say, well, dadgum, let me call and find out. But you got to be, as we said before, knowledgeable of the opportunities.
Listen, I'm telling you, I told
That's
you,
sage
I'm a
advice, sage
hey,
advice.
look, y'all, I'm a sitting, living witness of this man right here, because everything he said, you told me to say. When you and I first started working with Jesse and the team, I used to send Jesse them emails on stuff I've read about the other
I do that.
other investors. And I know Jesse's strong financial, but I know he probably got tired of me sending him all this financial stuff, right? But I send him all this stuff and all these financial, and all these investors, and all these people saying they do it. Because guess what? All we have to do is what? Call them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can't be afraid of the no or the inconvenient truth that you're going to get them no.
And even if you don't know them to call, do a little homework. Well, that's so and so.
Yeah.
Let's see who's on his board. Let's see who's on.
Yeah.
Oh, I know this guy over here who knows him. Let me call him and have
Connect
him
the
call
dots,
him.
Connect the dots.
Hey,
Connect the
we,
dots.
we have done this so many times over the years in building this platform and just really reaching out to people.
Oh.
And the good thing is we do have a great, network.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
we got
Oh,
a
yeah.
great mentor in yourself, and we had others that believed in what we're doing, champion. Like you said, you got to have a cheerleader.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, whether it be, Mr. Davis, or whether it be a Toyota, whether it be a Tracy McGrady, or Gwen Pacern. You know, she's been a champion. She's been a cheerleader. You know,
Or
Wesley
Wesley.
Burnett, investors that we've been going back. And I told you, we were just in Orlando, with our investors. But for them to be champions and cheerleading and believe in what we're doing, you got to have that too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
but if I want to go to a major corporation in America, I got a champion here.
Yeah.
I can call you. I'm sure
can.
you got 1 or 2 degrees of separation to get me to somebody in that corporation.
That's why they call us. So they know that's the truth.
That's right.
Oh, we know that PN and DIP.
Oh yeah.
Rodney and Jesse, them, they can get any corporate door. That's true.
Oh, yeah.
But and it's all about the relationships.
Little relationship.
People want to do business with people they like,
And yeah, they like and they know.
and they know, and they get to know.
It gets to be that little bit of that trust factor.
Yeah, yeah. We have gotten in business and trusted people too, right?
Oh boy.
And we talk about the sharks, and
Oh yeah.
I call them elephants. They step on you. But we've been in that door too. I mean, we've gotten, Mr. Davis and I talk about a lot of financial things
Oh, yeah.
that we've come across in the years, and knowing that you're right there.
Oh.
You're right there, and this is good, and you validated and
Oh.
checked and did due diligence.
Oh,
But
right
it
there.
still wasn't right. It still wasn't good. It wasn't right, or there was some bad character stuff.
Oh yeah.
Which makes for a great segue.
Yeah.
Because we've talked a lot about the pros, if you will,
Pros,
of going into and understanding your relative position in your industry,
Yeah,
understanding
yeah.
how you rank against your peers,
Yeah.
being prepared for the ask, knowing on the front end what the non-negotiables are, equity, debt, hybrid.
Oh yeah.
thereof.
Yeah.
But now let's talk a little bit about the cons.
Oh my
Oh.
goodness.
Cons being not just going into an audience and understanding what your non-negotiables may have to be in terms of how you're positioning your balance sheet, but how important is it for that entrepreneur to be willing to say no?
He's got to be able to say no, because he may go down a course. First of all, he'll waste time.
Yeah.
And
I can tell you
money.
two or three cases in the last 30 days where there's someone supposed to have all this knowledge for getting the capital, but he had zero knowledge.
Yep.
And he ended up getting a percentage of the company, and he's getting some of your money out of your pocket. You just got to be careful. You got to be able to say no. And you might be, if you're going down this street with someone else, you may go down the street with someone else at one time, just to make sure that you're
Yep.
covered. But I've learned my lesson by losing, but I've also learned my lesson, as you said, the credibility of the individuals.
Yeah.
My darling wife, she go on the internet and check out people all the time, and
Loretta on that.
So she's your
Check
due
it out.
diligence, huh?
check it out and then find out what was going on there. But you have to be careful, because if you align yourself with someone who's not
Yeah.
good and clean,
Yeah.
you become dirty
Yeah. That's true.
for the next person. So you got to be careful. What your name is the most important thing that you own.
Yep.
Besides the assets you say you have in the company, your name and your credibility are the most important resources that you own as an individual on this earth.
Yeah.
And you got to protect that forever.
That's so true.
Well said. Well said.
I've called Mr. Davis many times. It's like, hey, Mr. Davis, do you know this group? Or do you know this individual investor? Or do you know these people? Because I know he knew a lot of folks, and I use my relationships, and I use my background. I use my law enforcement background to,
Yeah.
I have to do certain things, and that's, I'm a member of that family. So I use it, but we found out that things wasn't right.
Oh, no.
It wasn't right. And then you did a lot of homework and a lot of due diligence, but you go down that path,
Oh, yeah.
you got to say no. Even though you say, if I do this, I know it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all.
And when you start making money, make sure you check out your investor.
Yes.
I mean, where you put your own money. Anybody who's investing your money, your capital, you don't want to lose it.
Yeah, we actually had, not to put business out there in the street, but one of our investors, good investor, but people who was investing their monies
Oh, yeah.
were doing bad.
Oh, yeah.
They were doing bad by that investor's own money, and that was discovered, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And hey, it's tough, you know. It's definitely tough out here. So it's not easy. Nothing's easy. You know, we got to continue just, you know, to definitely just scale, drive, understand, listen, pay attention, get educated, and do those things just that you just don't typically do on the day-to-day. Read the paper. We're not doing that. We're looking at our phones all the time, and
Especially
Facebook.
the business page.
Yeah, business, not Facebook and all that, but business pages. But listen, we're going to do this. We're going to come back after the break, and we're going to finish this segment, and we're so honored today to have Mr. Levi Davis in the house with us at PN Global News.
This is Rich.
Yeah.
This is
so
Rich.
We'll be back after the break.
In a minute.
Hello, I'm Randall Bird. I'm a gynecologist on staff at Texas Health Center for Diagnostics and Surgery. Robotic surgery is certainly a portion of the future of medicine. Through the use of computer-assisted technology, the robot allows patients to have less pain, a shorter hospitalization, and it allows them to return to their work and their lifestyle much faster. My patients particularly appreciate the care they receive at Texas Health Center for Diagnostics and Surgery. The nursing staff always gets high marks, and they're specially trained to deal with patients after minimally invasive surgery. The facility is beautiful, and the food is excellent. If you're considering a gynecological procedure, major or minor, please speak with your physician. And remember, the physicians on staff at Texas Health Center for Diagnostics and Surgery are always available to help.
Welcome back. PN Global News. I'm Jesse McRae with the incomparable, the Mr.
Levi Davis.
I don't know where they got that. I'm just a child of God trying to make a living.
Mr. Levi Davis.
And my
in the
business
house.
partner, Rodney Woods. Rodney, this has been rich, man.
It has.
This has been rich.
It
Now,
has
how
been.
often do we have an opportunity?
Well,
to-
I have the privilege of being able to call him and talk to him over the last 30 years. Over the last 30-some years,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Old as he is, almost, yeah.
Yeah, Robert's in the house. My son's in the house today, so Robert's 25, so I've been calling him over 25 years.
Rob Bass.
What's up, Rob? How you doing? I hope he learning something here, because, you know, I'm ready. But no, I mean, this is definitely rich, Jesse. It is, and Levi, it's always an honor and a blessing for you to bless us, even to come here on your time, because I know you're busy. You all over the country. I'm surprised you're actually in the United States today.
No, I've given that up. I'm staying just in Texas, except for tripping down into California, but I'm staying right here in Texas right now.
Now, here's the thing. We're not going to believe for 1 minute that your passport isn't on the ready.
Oh, yeah, it's ready to go. Opportunity calls. You got it. That's another thing.
Yeah, opportunity, right?
You always got to be ready for opportunity, because you don't know when opportunity knocks on the door.
Right.
If it knocks on the door, you say, "Oh, I can't catch that plane. I can't get there. They want to talk to us and me make a presentation, but I can't get there. I got to babysit tomorrow. You know, I can't get there." You got to be ready for opportunity.
You know, I'm so glad that came from you, you know, because a lot of people who really don't understand entrepreneurship, your biggest asset is the O, opportunity.
Yeah.
When you have an opportunity, he or she have an opportunity,
Oh boy,
and you seriously, you want to grow, you have to take that opportunity.
you really do.
And you can't tell people, I got to get a babysitter, I got to do this, I got to do. You're not even supposed to be talking about that anyway, first of all. You just got to make it happen.
That's right.
Is that not right?
That's exactly right. And I have a difficult time. I don't say no, because I always believe you can do something. The guy called me the other day. Hey, I'm marketing Irish vodka.
Right.
And I got 50,000 barrels that I have to bring into the United States. What the heck I know about Irish vodka?
Right.
But it's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. You got to call that SME, that subject matter expert
Right.
that you got a relationship with, that you can call like, okay, let's figure this out. Can we help this guy?
Oh, yeah. A guy called, Levi, I'm interested in building an indoor ski facility. It costs about $300 million.
Yeah. Oh, you told me about that deal.
What?
That's
What?
right.
What?
That's right.
But
That's right.
I don't ski, but opportunity.
Yeah,
Opportunity.
you did. You talked about that deal.
You never know.
And we too, as entrepreneurs and at PN Global News, and now, of course, Playbook Investors Network. At Playbook Investors with an S, network.com. We get those opportunities.
Oh,
we get
yeah.
opportunities,
Oh, yeah.
opportunities.
Daily.
Endless opportunity. We just tried to turn this paradigm and shift it to the opportunity people like the vendors who
Oh, yeah.
need the opportunity to gain the access to capital.
And you also got to discern which opportunities are real.
We do. We have to.
Well, if you get 15, 20 of them,
Yeah.
you only got time to look at 2 or 3 of them, how do you decide which one's real.
Yeah.
So the importance of filtering.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got to filter them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we do it. We do it quite a bit. But the blessing for us, and thank you so much for people like yourself being in my life, but the blessing for us is we built something that every opportunity came in, got a chance to be looked at. And that was a look at because they had a business and they were just trying to gain access to capital. Now we know with that capital, there's certain things that they got to do. There's two things important. With that capital, you're going to buy the human capital, the persons.
Yeah.
For people understand the human capital, that means you, the people. Or you got to buy the equipment. That's what that capital is for. And we just try to afford these companies the opportunity to actually gain access to this capital back end with these investors, the investing public, and some things that we're going to talk about a little bit before we get off the show today with the CDF that you're trying to do. But you gain access to these type of things that you can now at least buy the people that you need to help you grow and scale this business or get the equipment that you need to continue to do this business, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's opportunities. But we got to get past some things that the inconvenient truth.
That's right.
Of not wanting to hear the truth sometimes, you know. You've been in business 11 years, you don't want nobody to tell you how to do this or what you should do, or you should call Levi and tell, you need to, right?
Oh, yeah. And if you fail, pick yourself right back on up.
Keep going.
Keep on going.
When you fail, though, you got to remember, when you fail and you got capital, that can be a problem. Yeah. We don't want nobody to fail. That's why you try to take care of these missteps that Jesse always allude to. Take care of these missteps up front.
But let me tell you, though, the religion there, you're a child of God. You never fail.
Never fail.
You never fail. You may stumble.
Yeah.
But you get yourself back up. Never think of yourself as a failure in any position.
Right.
You stumbled. You missed the mark this time, but then just get yourself back up and you keep on going. But don't label yourself ever as a failure. I failed in this. No, I learned a lot of lessons. If I got out of that and I didn't learn something, I learned a lot of lessons. I made a lot of contacts. I got to take that and put it in the bowl and use that to move forward to the next stage.
Absolutely. And that's who we are, and that's who I am. That's even as an athlete, you know, you just keep going.
Let's keep going.
And they keep telling that you can't do this, or you can't be a quarterback, or you can't play basketball, or you can't play NBA. You can't do anything. You just keep going. And when you prove everybody wrong, they all come around. Oh my God, I didn't, because they didn't think that we could do what we're doing today.
Yeah.
You know how many people told us that won't work.
Yeah.
But we're here today.
And been here a while.
Been here for a while. Yes, absolutely. And we stayed true to the game. We stayed persistent, and we did not give up, right?
That's right.
But
That's
man,
exactly right.
I tell you, Jesse, man, this is always something good, man. When you got Levi in the house.
Hey, I've been sitting here just taking it in.
It's like, okay, this show ain't supposed to end, not today.
Hey, man, I've been taking it in. You know, I know that you are a well-read man, and you're in your own right, you're a historian. So I'm going to quote Abraham Lincoln. Because I think that this is in the spirit of what you've been talking about.
Here we go.
Abraham Lincoln said that oftentimes the difference between our greatest successes and our most staggering failures is often the diligent will to what? Persevere.
That's right.
How important is perseverance when you've now gotten the money and the market is changing a little bit? Perhaps there are macro forces that are causing some of the projections that you originally communicated in the marketplace to change. How important is it to persevere, A, but then communicate those steps that you're taking in the eyes of your investor?
That's, I used to say before, I step outside of myself and look at where I am and where I'm going and who I am. The world's going to continuously change and nothing remains the same. So you always got to be cognizant of your plan and where you are, but able to stop and evaluate what has changed, what makes a difference in my plan and where I'm going, what is happening out there that I have to make adjustments. But take the time, as you say, evaluate. Look back what went wrong, capitalize on it, and go forward. It's going to happen. I mean, the world's changing so fast with technology right now.
Very fast.
Very fast, and the needs. And some of us old timers may not see that market change because there are a lot of products and things out there that the younger generation is interested in that we haven't even thought of.
Right.
So you just have to be able to make that adjustment to fit into what's happening in the world. And it's happening every day. Every day,
Right.
every day.
And with the adjustment, you know, we talk at our office all the time, how do we integrate a lot of the
That's right.
entrepreneurs and the young
do.
millennials?
Oh, yeah.
We've had a couple of athletes on our team that were young millennials who, you know, the best part-time job as an athlete is to play 5, 6, 7 years and still make a lot of money, right?
Yeah,
That's the best part-time job in the world,
Yep,
right?
yep, yep, yep.
But we try to understand their mindset or understand my son's mindset as a young entrepreneur, you know, what they think about, you know, how they really engage in now this true social media age, you know, because now everything's on your phone.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to do anything. The business is right on your phone. You can look at the newspaper on your phone, you know, business section, folks, not sports, business section. But you can view all these things now. So we too had to evolve and change.
Oh, yeah.
And you got to change with time every day.
Every day.
You know, the sports game has changed in football, right? And Jesse talks about football all the time. He used to
Yeah,
always
yeah.
use football analogies.
Yeah, yeah.
But the game has changed.
Game has changed.
You know, basketball has changed. I mean, baseball has changed. Everything is changing really, really rapid, and it's changing before you. So if you don't, I see a lot of businesses that we see around the country. If they don't change, they're gonna fail too.
They're going to go by the wayside because things are changing.
Yeah, you do have to change sometimes your business model, or you got to bring in that young innovation entrepreneur and train him or her
Oh, yeah.
in this business. That's one thing we really looked at, though, Levi. Like you was talking about the kids, going back to that story about the young kids being authors in the books. But we said if we can get into these young kids and let them, because they know social media, let them do the social media play for these small mom and pop businesses that don't know it. You know, they don't understand it. But bring them in, let them understand something. They didn't even know that you make aluminum cans or you make a book or you making cufflinks or whatever, but they're doing your social media. But they're learning something by accident,
Yeah, yeah.
just by doing the social media, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
we think about those type of things. How do we integrate all this? How do we help create jobs? How do we create the innovation for the entrepreneurs? You know,
yeah, yeah.
We like the Shark Tanks with Mark Cuban, good friend of mine, and everything else. But I don't want to. I like it, but then I don't. Like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Mark, there's no disrespect to you, so let me
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
that.
Yeah, they have several Shark
Yeah,
Tanks in this
they
community.
got a lot of
Yeah,
Shark
yeah,
Tanks.
Shark Tank, boy.
But education is key.
Oh, yeah. You know, the other thing I point out, and not so much the entrepreneur now, but telling the young people, have them stop and think. You always ask them, what do you want to do when you get old? The question is, what sort of lifestyle do you want? Because if you're going to be a teacher, or you're going to be a sanitation worker, or you're going to be, each of the careers that you pick will dictate the lifestyle.
Right.
If you want to drive a real fine car and live in a big house, well, that ain't the lifestyle. That ain't not the career. But they haven't thought about the lifestyle that they want to go into and move forward on.
Yeah, I don't know that, you know, a lot of millennials even think about certain things. I think they just go with the trend.
Yeah.
You know, because everything is trending now. You know, styles are different. You know, skinny jeans, those that was back in our day, right? But then it came back around. You know, so everything is evolving. It comes back around just in a little different style, different form. But at the end of the day, business is business.
Yeah.
Business is business. It's just you got to be persistent. You know, you got to present your plan to the investors. You got to present it to the corporations that you can do the work. and scale
Got
the
1
work.
minute. I got to get that 1 minute in.
Yep, there you
is
go.
that even though you're not going to get capital more than likely from a bank, you got to establish a banking relationship.
Yes.
So you got to know the banker. You got to have a checking account. You got to have the checks paid on time. You have to have a contact in the bank, even if you're not going to use them. You have to have that contact.
We talk about that all the
Relationship.
time. And we've always tried to establish all the banking relationships so we can bring it back to our vendors who need capital. You know, so we're coming at the Fifth Third banks, the Wells Fargo, the Bank of Americas, the Chase Bank, because they're saying they can't find these vendors neither.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Jesse, man, it's been good. Have
tell
Mr.
you,
Davis here today.
This right here has been platinum.
This
Mr.
has
Davis,
been
this
good.
This has been wonderful.
Well, I thank you all for having me here, and I didn't know what you're going to talk about, but it's been interesting.
We try to keep it fluid. We try
Yeah,
to keep it fluid.
we won't give Mr. Davis a script because we like, nah, you got way too much knowledge, so we're not giving you a script. But no, Mr. Davis, thank you so much for joining us here today at PN Global News. We really
It's been
appreciate
a
it.
pleasure.
I
All
thank
the
you
best.
all,
Yes,
and
sir.
I'll be back later on and talk about the CDF that we're beginning to create here in this community, which they're all over the country, matter of fact.
Yeah, so we definitely got to have Mr. Davis back to talk about the CDF. So that's something we definitely going to stay on top of.
All right.
But we'll see you guys back here next week at PN Global News at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time to 11. every Thursday here at Unified Network in Frisco, Texas. We'll see you. Have a great weekend.
Best of luck to you.